Today, we had the chance to go check out a brand new 2025 two-door Jeep Wrangler Xtreme Recon Willys trim. But after looking at it, after seeing the MSRP and what the exact kind of stature of this Jeep is, I think there's a lot to talk about and why I think I might have been wrong about it a year ago. So let's get into what we saw today. Checking it out, a 2025 two-door in Fathom Blue. Now this was the Willys trim that was upgraded with the Xtreme Recon. And in our humble opinion, this is exactly how a two-door should start life. This Jeep looked fantastic. Now it was optioned out with a couple things. So it started off as a Willys, got Fathom Blue, a hardtop, some convenience groups, remote start, heated seats because it is frigid here in PA. But overall, we have not been able to see one of these in person in Ryan, we posted that video January 24th of last year, and we just haven't seen one in person. We've seen some people try and do it, make an Xtreme Recon, add the fender extensions, put the proper wheels onto it, and it looks exactly like you think it would. And we've got a couple photos submitted to us and that we saw online, but finding one in person has been the very, very tricky thing to do. Now, after we saw it in person, like I just said to you, it was exactly what we expected. It looked very complete and it looked like a really cool little two-door. So guys, let's kind of break it down to start off. The Xtreme Recon was launched sometime in the year 2021, and I personally ordered an Xtreme Recon Jeep Wrangler four-door because that's all it was available in. If you guys aren't up to speed on what is included with the Xtreme Recon, it's available in the Willys and Rubicon trim, and it starts life as basically a set of 315/70/17, equivalent to a 35 by 12.5 on a 17-inch wheel, an 1.5 inch factory suspension lift, lockers front and rear on the Rubicon, now locker on the rear of the Willys, 456 gearing, fender flares that are the Rubicon Highlines, Xtreme Recon extensions on the edge of there, a tire carrier, reinforcements throughout the rest of the vehicle, including upgraded brakes both front and rear, and a couple of other goodies that come with it. The Xtreme Recon is a fantastic package from the factory because all of it is factory, all of it is warranted, and it's on a set of 35s that can really take the wear and tear. Now, a year ago when they came out with this on the two-door, I was ecstatic. I was like, man, everyone has been waiting for this. We saw it on the four-door. It is a massive hit. Back when I was working at a dealership, that's probably all I was ordering at a certain point. Everyone wanted the Xtreme Recon. So much so that the 392 since the year 2023, end of 23, beginning of 24, has all come with 35. So everyone kind of wanted this, and now it's become a standard option on both the 392 and the Rubicon X. They all come with 35s on there. Now on the two-door, I think there was a lot to be wanted on that. Personally, we wanted a smaller Jeep, a two-door that had lockers, and you could basically take it right off the dealership lot, hit some trails, and go out and explore and still be 100% covered by your factory warranty. That's what a lot of people were concerned with this. They knew they didn't want to go higher than a 35. They wheeled on the weekends. They wanted a nice summer cruising vehicle, but they wanted it all done from factory, all with the backing of a warranty. So when they released the two-door, I think that's what everyone was most excited about. Having something that was initially went for a four-door, but now is on a two-door, and we could get it exactly the way that we wanted it. Now the biggest con that I see, so those are all pros, you could get all that on a two-door now. The biggest con when this thing was released was the price point. Boy, oh boy, doing it only on the Willys and the Rubicon trim really amplified the price point. And I think the niche, or the niche, or the what, niche? Croissant? The niche buyer of a two-door is someone like Ryan that has cats and so someone buying a two-door, someone has said, I think Wrangler sales, it's less than 10% of the Wrangler audience is buying a two-door. Boy, what a 180 from pre-2007, because it was only two doors. Now, so someone buying a two-door is not only buying it for the purpose of wanting a two-door, which means they're kind of more focused on the Wrangler lifestyle, what they can do with that Jeep, not being pushed into a Wrangler just because it looks cool. They are buying this on purpose. Gets a bit crazy when it comes to price. Now, I will give you an example. So today, the Willys Xtreme Recon that we checked out, which, mind you, had a bunch of options to it. It had the adaptive cruise, it had an automatic trans, a 2-liter, it had safety group. No, it didn't have safety group, but it had hardtop. It had the convenience group and a couple of those other packages. Sound system, yeah, it had the premium sound on there. It added up to a lot, and I believe the sticker was $54,875. Almost $55,000 for this many doors. That's getting up there. You know, I know what we paid for this thing, Ryan. What was it, like 34? 33, 34 for a 2025. A $20,000 difference for 35s, lockers, beefed up axles, Xtreme Recon fender extensions. you start to play out that price, right? I know what we've put into Ryan's Jeep money-wise. I know what we're putting into this Jeep money-wise. And there's a lot to be desired for that $20,000 gap. Now, I'm also not saying that you couldn't buy a stripped-down Willys with a soft top and probably pay, we'll have to look this up, Ryan. Maybe you put up the number here from Jeep's website, what it starts at. I guess it's 46-ish, 46, 47 for a Willys two-door XR. I think it's somewhere around that. Putting all that together, and having such a high price point is something that I think just turned away so many potential buyers. Now, initially when this launched, I thought, man, this is great. Everyone that's been begging for a two-door XR is now gonna flock to the dealerships. They're gonna order exactly what they want, and they're gonna get it and get the exact Jeep. But I think the exact opposite had happened. The fact that initially when that launched, it was only available in the Rubicon, which then amplified the price even higher. You were talking 60s for a two-door Rubicon XR. And the fact that we have not seen one in person in a year and a half, going on just over a year, really drives home the fact that this is a very unique audience member that is looking for this kind of Jeep, and it's very specific to what they're willing to spend to have that factory warranty and the ability to take it right off the lot and wheel it. So I think that's kind of some of the biggest cons with the two-door, is that it is just such a narrow market for what it's looking for. And I think the folks that were interested in a two-door Xtreme Recon did not want to break the bank to do it. I think, in my humble opinion, that's exactly what happened. They would have been comfortable spending $33,000, $34,000 like this on a Jeep behind me and adding a $5,000 Xtreme Recon package, because now you're at like $38,000, $39,000, which that's still expensive for a Jeep, but it's not $54,000. It's $38,000, $39,000. I can get into a two-door XR stripped down. I think that's where they missed the mark with the audience, is that the guy buying this doesn't want the frills. They don't want all these safety groups. They don't want all the packages. They want it stripped down, and they want to use it as a two-door XR that's going to have the doors off all summer. So kind of trailing off of that, why was I wrong about the opinion we initially had a year ago? We thought these things were going to fly off the shelves. And I thought that just based upon the desire on some of our comments prior, was everyone wanted a two-door XR, and then when they were released, a lot of people were into it, but I think a lot of the comments were also, it's too expensive as a Rubicon. I was wrong about the desire for a two-door Xtreme Recon because of Jeep's delivery of the model. That's what I will kind of rest my head on, is Jeep delivered this model as a too expensive version of the two-door and just thought that the XR is going to be the end-all be-all and people will pay whatever they want for it. And they did not tap into the comments and the people that are actually going to buy this thing. So I think a lot of guys would have purchased this as a vehicle they could tow behind their RV. They could keep in maybe their garage and go out on summer cruises, maybe keep down at the beach, places like that, and go around and cruise around into it like they were used to back in the day. They're used to kind of a two-door being a cheaper Jeep, something you can leave the top and doors off, but they wanted that factory warranty and to get the 35s and not have to mess with it. The biggest thing I've always sold when I sold the XRs to folks is they just wanted to get into the Jeep and enjoy it. They didn't want to do suspension, they didn't want to do lift kits, wheels, tires, picking out what's right, what's wrong, is it going to ride well, is my wife going to hate it when she gets into it? They wanted it from the factory and to be able to ride really smooth. So where I was wrong, the anticipated demand for it was lower than I expected, but I also don't want to say I was completely wrong, because I think it had a lot to do with the way that Jeep launched it. I think the way that they released it, the high price point, and that was, you got to remember, that was what, in 2024, beginning probably the highest prices Jeep had ever been at. They were releasing a two-door XR, and some of them, I built one out on the website, I think I could get up to like $67,000 for a two-door. Like, you are talking very, very high money for a vehicle with two doors. And, you know, it's just, I guess what I'm saying with all this, it rings home because I've owned a lot of two doors. Ryan's owned a lot of two doors. He currently owns a 2024. We've got a 2025 sitting behind me. And I guess maybe this portion of the video is like, what could you do? What could Jeep have done differently, or what would we do? So I think Jeep, what they could have done differently is release this in a base model. I know we just brought it up, but I think a base model at 33, 34, maybe with some washout flooring inside instead of the carpet, and really strip it down, but give people the off-road perks that they want. Give it a base soft top, give it a base interior, cloth seats, crank windows, and give us the XR, because a lot of guys with the two-door, they wanted that. That's the base that they wanted to start with. The second thing I think is so difficult is because basically I could take a two-door like this, Ryan, and I can even outfit most of it at a Jeep dealership with a Mopar 2-inch lift, a set of 35s, a set of wheels, The re-gear and the lockers where it kind of gets a little bit expensive, so you have to be not frugal with it, but you kind of have to be savvy with what you're doing. Buy a set of takeout axles. You have a set of takeout Rubicon XR axles under your Jeep, and I've seen them even listed for $4 or $5 grand for a pair of them. So you can get a pretty slick deal. So you've got $4 or $5 grand into axles. You've got maybe $3 grand into wheels and tires, and then you can add on all the other stuff. With labor, if you don't want to do it, yeah, okay, so say 10 grand for wheels, tires, and axles. And now you have 10 grand to play with in bumpers, fenders, sliders, interior mods. There's a lot more to play with money-wise. Now, some of it will mess with your warranty. Some of it will make the ride quality a lot different. But in the grand scheme of things, I think it's a lot more pros to that. And maybe that's what we're going to focus on, Ryan. There's a lot more pros to just doing it yourself versus the pro of just having a factory warranty. Is that much more valuable? Normally, when I look at something for the cost effectiveness, I'm looking to see if it's that close that I would just rather do it from the factory. But when you have such a drastic difference in cost, that's where you start to lean towards the aftermarket or just having Mopar parts installed. So this is an interesting video. I don't know. It was freezing today when we checked that Jeep out, and it was really cool to see it in person. And Ryan, maybe you want to throw up a clip here because we were able to see a 41 Gladiator in person, and man, that color looks good on the Gladiator. I thought it looked good on this little two-door, but the Gladiator, like Ryan said, you have a whole bedside, so you get a lot more of that color built in. This one was actually factory optioned with the graphics kit, so it came with American flag on the hood, and I believe it was a star on that side, some matte black. Had a Mopar lift and some KMC IMS wheels with what looked to be about a set of 33 or 35 inch tires. Really clean looking Jeep, and honestly that would make, imagine we did a 41 Gladiator to match this and then this could tow it. That would be really, really cool. But yeah, we got to check that out, and then we were returning from the dealership we were at, and out of the corner of my eye, I'm just sitting there talking to Ryan, shooting the breeze, talking about this, that, and the other. I spot a tan top in the distance, in like a yard, like a wrecking yard, and I was like, wait a sec, and I was like, maybe it's a JK. I look closer, and it's a Hella Yella two-door with a tan top, and I was like, wait a sec, that's in a scrap, it looked like a scrap yard, all right? Like, I mean, we're an hour and a half away from home. I was like, we gotta find where that is. So we pull off the highway, we do like 8 loops around because we went to the wrong place, we tried to mark it, we drove all around for this thing. Finally, we got back on the highway, drove by it again so we could make sure it was there. And I was like, Ryan, look, there it is. It's behind the pole. And he could see it. We pull in there. We shoot our shot. We said, hey, what's going on with that Jeep back there? Unfortunately, this was like a towing recovery place. So that Jeep was involved in an accident. If you guys know of that Jeep or who owned it, we really are praying that they're okay because it looked like a pretty hard accident. And we're not going to publicize anything more of that. But we just noticed that there was a tan top. So lo and behold, it's not available, it's there, but if you guys have a tan top for a 2-door JL, we don't want the best top one, we don't want a fastback one, we want a 2-door factory JL tan soft top. If you guys can find it on Marketplace, on Craigslist, send it to us. We will leave our email address down below. Send us a link. Yeah, and if you have a tan soft top and you, for some reason, want a black 2025 soft top, bring it here. Or maybe we'll even come to you and we'll swap it. And you guys can have a black one and we can have the tan one. It'd be a perfect trade if you guys want to contribute to the build. But yeah, let us know if you guys have one in your local marketplace, because I try and search all over Marketplace. But if you guys have one in your local area, send it to me. I know we had one viewer did it a while ago. He sent it to us. It was sold that night. So wrapping up the day, man, it was fun. I mean, it was a cold day to go down there and check that out, but it was definitely worth it to be able to see it in person. Now, the one thing I did want to close on too is that we are absolutely in no way bashing the 2-door Xtreme Recon. In fact, this is probably one of the best looking factory options you can get from Jeep. We know a couple people that have them online. They look incredible. This is the way a 2-door should come from the factory. We are just simply expressing our opinion on maybe some pricing, maybe the pros and cons, maybe where Jeep missed the mark a little bit on that model. Not by any means of form or function, but probably the one biggest elephant in the room, the price. We want to hear your opinions down below, so we would love to hear them. And also, if you guys have a veteran that you would love to honor in our World War II build, simply send us an email. We are going through all of those, and it's such an honor to work with you guys on that. But yeah, we're excited to continue our 2-door build. We're gonna hopefully pick up some stuff from powder coating here soon, do some custom more touches to it, because this Jeep has been stripped down on jack stands for far too long now. It's like a week and it's far too long for us. But either way, drop a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. We hope you go out and enjoy your Jeep in this weather, and we're hoping it warms up soon because we are absolutely sick of this cold. We'll see you guys at Jeep Beach soon. We're anxiously waiting 2 more months to be in the Florida sun. So from Ryan behind the camera and me here talking to you, we want you to get out there and earn yours.